Think about your three closest friends right now. The ones you grew up with, the ones you grab dinner with, the ones you text when something funny happens. Now, here is the uncomfortable question I want you to sit with for the next 20 minutes. How many of them are quietly, invisibly, unknowingly headed straight for a financial disaster at 60? Not because they are stupid, not because they are lazy, not because they make bad decisions on purpose, but because they are doing everything that looks normal, everything that society told them was fine, while a set of very specific, very predictable financial patterns are silently building toward a retirement catastrophe that will blindside them completely. Here is what makes this so disturbing. You can see it coming. The signs are there right now, hidden in plain sight in the way they talk about money, the way they spend, the way they think about their future. And by the end of this video, you will either be relieved that none of these signs apply to your friends, or you will be genuinely alarmed because some of these signs might apply to you. My name is MoneyTruth, and I spend way too much time studying the financial patterns that separate people who retire comfortably from people who run out of money in their 70s and have to go back to work. And what I have found after studying thousands of financial cases is this: retirement disaster is almost never a surprise. It is always the predictable outcome of a very specific set of behaviors that started decades earlier. If you want to understand these patterns well enough to recognize them in the people you care about, and more importantly, in yourself, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Because these 13 signs are not opinions, they are patterns. And patterns can be changed, but only if you can see them first. Now, before we get into the 13 signs, I want to make one thing very clear. This video is not about judging your friends. It is not about feeling superior because you have your finances together while they do not. It is about understanding a very simple but devastating truth that most people only discover when it is too late. The financial decisions people make in their 30s and 40s, the completely normal, socially acceptable, totally unremarkable decisions, are what determine whether they retire with dignity or desperation. And the 13 signs I'm about to show you are the early warning system that most people never get to see. Think of this video as the financial check engine light that nobody installed in your friend's life. Until now. Sign number 1, the payment mentality. Your friend never asks what something costs. They only ask what the monthly payment is. You mention a new car, they say, "What is the monthly payment?" You mention a vacation. They say, "Can I put it on my card and pay it off over a few months?" You mention a home renovation. They say, "What kind of financing do they offer?" This is called payment mentality, and it is one of the most reliable predictors of retirement financial disaster that exists. Here is why it is so dangerous. When you think only in monthly payments, you completely lose track of the total cost of everything you own. The $800 truck payment does not feel like $86,000 over 8 years. The $200 furniture payment does not feel like $3,600 plus interest. The credit card minimum does not feel like the $12,000 balance it represents. Payment mentality turns rich people poor slowly and quietly, one manageable monthly installment at a time. The person who thinks in total costs builds wealth. The person who thinks in monthly payments rents their lifestyle forever. Sign number 2, their net worth is a secret even to them. Ask your friend their net worth right now. Not their income, not their salary, their actual net worth. Total assets minus total liabilities. If they go quiet, change the subject, or give you a number that is suspiciously round, that's sign number 2. Wealthy people know their net worth to the dollar. They track it monthly. It's their scoreboard. People heading for retirement disaster have no idea what their net worth is. And the reason they don't know is because they subconsciously don't want to know. Because if you don't look at the number cannot scare you. Here is what the research shows. People who track their net worth monthly accumulate nearly 3 times more wealth by retirement than people who do not track it at all. 3 times. Same income, same opportunities, just the act of tracking the number. Your friend who cannot tell you their net worth is flying their entire financial life completely blind. Sign number 3. The lifestyle always expands to match the income. Every time your friend gets a raise, something new appears in their life. New car, nicer apartment, more expensive gym, better restaurants, first-class upgrade, and their savings rate stays exactly the same, 0. This is lifestyle inflation on autopilot, and it is the silent killer of retirement plans everywhere. Here is the math that makes this so devastating. If your friend has been working for 15 years and their income has doubled, but their savings rate has stayed at 0, they've lost the most powerful wealth-building period of their entire life. Every raise they ever got went directly into lifestyle instead of investments. That money is gone forever, and the compound interest it would have generated over the next 25 years is gone with it. The telltale sign is this. Ask your friend if they save more today than they did 5 years ago, not in absolute dollars, in percentage of income. If the answer is no, they are on the wrong path. Sign number 4. They confuse looking wealthy with being wealthy. Your friend drives a car that costs more than their annual retirement contributions. Their house looks impressive from the street, but the mortgage is underwater. They wear a watch that costs more than most people's emergency fund. They post vacations on social media that were entirely financed on credit cards. This is one of the most heartbreaking signs on this list because it is so common and so misunderstood. Looking rich and being rich are not just different things, they are opposite things. Every dollar spent on the appearance of wealth is a dollar that is not building actual wealth. Thomas Stanley, the researcher who wrote The Millionaire Next Door, found that most actual millionaires drive ordinary cars, live in modest homes, and are essentially invisible in their neighborhoods. Meanwhile, the people with the impressive cars, the designer clothes, and the Instagram-worthy vacations are statistically the most financially fragile people in America. Your friend who looks rich is probably the furthest from being rich. Sign number 5. They have no emergency fund. Ask your friend what would happen if they lost their job tomorrow. If the answer involves panic, that's sign number 5. The average American has less than $1,000 in accessible emergency savings, which means that one car repair, one medical bill, one unexpected expense away from going into debt. And debt is the enemy of retirement savings because every dollar that goes to interest payments is a dollar that is not compounding in your investment account. People without emergency funds don't just struggle during emergencies, they never build wealth because every time they start to accumulate savings, an emergency wipes it out and sends them back to 0. The cycle repeats for decades, and then retirement arrives, and there is nothing there. Sign number 6. They think a pension or Social Security will save them. Your friend works a government job and says, I am not worried about retirement because I have a pension. Or they say, Social Security will take care of me when I am older. This is sign number 6, and it is quietly devastating an entire generation. Here is the reality. The average Social Security payment in 2026 is approximately $1,900 per month. That is $22,800 per year. The average American spends $48,000 per year in retirement. Social Security covers less than half of what the average retiree actually needs. As for pensions, less than 15% of private sector workers have them, and even government pensions are being reduced, restructured, and in some cases eliminated entirely. Your friend who is counting on a pension or Social Security to fully fund their retirement is building their entire financial future on a foundation that is quietly crumbling beneath them. Sign number 7. They carry chronic credit card debt. Your friend has had a credit card balance for more than 12 consecutive months. They pay the minimum, sometimes a little more, but the balance never really goes away. This is sign number 7, and the math behind it is genuinely horrifying. The average credit card interest in 2026 is approximately 24%. That means if your friend carries an $8,000 balance, they're paying approximately $1,920 per year in interest alone. $1,920 per year, every year, just to stand still. If that same $1,920 per year was invested instead at 8% annual return, over 25 years it would grow to over $140,000. Your friend is not just paying interest, they're destroying their retirement one minimum payment at a time. Sign number 8. They have never increased their 401k contribution. Your friend signed up for their company 401k when they started their job. They chose 3% because that's what the default was, and they have never changed it. This is sign number 8. The recommended savings rate for a comfortable retirement is between 15 and 20% of gross income. Most financial planners won't even discuss retirement security below 15%. 3% is not retirement saving. 3% is retirement theater. It feels like you are doing something while accomplishing almost nothing. Here is the brutal math. If your friend earns $70,000 per year and contributes 3%, they're saving $2,100 per year. To retire comfortably, they need $1.5 million by age 65. Starting at 35 with nothing, $2,100 per year at 7% return gives them approximately $170,000 by age 65. They need $1.5 million. They are on track for $170,000. That gap, $1.33 million, is the difference between retirement and working until they physically can't. Sign number 9. They finance depreciating assets. Your friend financed their car, then financed their furniture, then financed their appliances, then financed their phone. Everything they own was bought with someone else's money at interest, and every single item lost value the moment they bought it. This is sign number 9. Financing depreciating assets is one of the most efficient ways to permanently destroy wealth that has ever been invented. Here is why. When you finance a depreciating asset, you pay interest on something that is simultaneously losing value. You are paying more than it costs for something worth less every day. The person who finances a $35,000 car at 7% interest over 6 years pays approximately $42,000 for a car that is worth $12,000 by the time it is paid off. They paid $42,000 for a $12,000 asset. The $30,000 difference evaporated. Do this with every major purchase across a lifetime, and retirement becomes mathematically impossible. Sign number 10. They have no investment outside their job. Your friend's entire financial plan is their salary. No index funds, no brokerage account, no rental property, no side income, no investments of any kind outside of whatever minimal 401k their employer set up automatically. This is sign number 10. Here is the terrifying reality. Your friend's job is not an asset, it is an income stream, and income streams can stop. Layoffs, health issues, industry disruption, company failure. When your friend's job stops, their entire financial life stops with it. Wealthy people build assets that generate income independent of their time and labor. They have money working for them around the clock. Your friend has only their time working for them, 40 hours per week, 50 weeks per year, for as long as their body and their employer allow. That is not a retirement plan. That is a ticking clock. Sign number 11. They celebrate paying off debt by taking on new debt. Your friend finally pays off their car loan. You congratulate them. 2 weeks later, they're at the dealership trading in their paid-off car for a new one with a new loan. This is sign number 11. It is called the debt cycle, and it is one of the most psychologically powerful traps in personal finance. The moment a debt is paid off, the monthly payment that was going to the lender suddenly feels like free money, disposable income, available for upgrade. So instead of redirecting that payment to investments, they immediately reallocate it to a new debt. They have been making car payments their entire adult life. They will continue making car payments their entire adult life, and they will arrive at retirement having paid for 4 or 5 cars worth of interest with nothing to show for it. Sign number 12. They cannot talk about money without getting defensive. Try having an honest conversation with your friend about money. Mention that you have been maxing out your Roth IRA. Watch their reaction. Suggest they might want to increase their savings rate. Notice how they respond. If the conversation immediately becomes uncomfortable, if they change the subject, get defensive, or make jokes to deflect, that is sign number 12. Here's what the psychology research shows. People who are uncomfortable talking about money are almost universally the people who are in the worst financial shape, because the discomfort comes from a subconscious awareness that their financial situation does not match their self-image. Talking about money makes the gap visible, so they avoid the conversation entirely. Wealthy people talk about money the way athletes talk about training, openly, analytically, without ego. Your friend who gets weird when money comes up is avoiding a financial reality they are not ready to face. Sign number 13. They think they have time. The last sign, and the most dangerous of all. Your friend is 38 years old, and they genuinely believe they have plenty of time to start getting serious about retirement. They'll start next year, when things settle down, when the kids are older, when they get that promotion, when life gets a little less hectic. This is sign number 13, and it is the sign that makes all the other 12 permanent, because time is the only ingredient in compound interest that you cannot buy back. Here's what your friend does not understand. The 38-year-old who starts investing seriously today and the 38-year-old who waits just 5 more years, until 43, do not end up in slightly different places at retirement. They end up in completely different financial universes. The person who starts at 38, saving $1,000 per month at 7% return, has approximately $1.37 million at age 65. The person who waits until 43, same amount, same return, has approximately $890,000. Same person, same effort, same monthly contribution. A 5-year delay costs $480,000 in future wealth for every 5 years they delay. And they're doing it completely invisibly because the money they are losing has not been earned yet. It exists only in the future they are quietly giving away. So let's be honest. How many of these 13 signs applied to your friend? And more importantly, how many of them applied to you? Because here's the truth that this entire video has been building towards. These 13 signs are not character flaws. They are not signs of stupidity or laziness or irresponsibility. They are the completely predictable result of a financial education system that never existed, of a culture that taught people how to consume and never taught them how to build, of a society where looking wealthy is rewarded and being wealthy is invisible. Your friend is not failing, they're just following a script that was written for them by people who benefit from their financial confusion. The difference between the people who retire with dignity and the people who run out of money at 78 is not intelligence, it's not income, it's not luck, it's awareness. The awareness to see the patterns before they become permanent. The awareness to change direction while there is still time. The awareness to understand that every year of delay is not just a year of lost savings, it's a year of compound interest that can never be recovered. Your friend still has time to change this story, but that time is not unlimited, and it's getting shorter every single day. If this video made you think of someone you care about, share it with them. Not to judge them, not to embarrass them, but because sometimes the most important thing a friend can do is show another friend the check engine light before the engine fails completely. Subscribe to MoneyTruth, because this is just the beginning.